Jacqui has asked me to help her out with a little art project she's been working on. Basically, she's going to create a beautiful artwork using vibrant, colourful powder. And the best part is, I get to film the whole thing in slow-mo. Girls!
Hey!
Look how prepared these two are.
Totally, all in white.
All in white, you got your protective eyewear on, you got your powder just there in all different colours, and of course, most important, the drop sheets are down.
Yes. Down.
And guess what, guys? To capture something like this at home, all you need is something that can film in slow-mo. Now, let's get into it.
Yeah, awesome.
Which powder are you going to go for first?
Green.
Now, you only really get to film this once because as soon as that coloured powder hits those white clothes, it's going to get pretty messy. And that's why we're filming it on multiple cameras. And we've actually got the help of one of our cameramen, Russell. Now, Russell, for all the people at home who don't really know what slow-mo is, what is slow-mo?
Slow-mo is basically shooting at a high frame rate.
Oh, and on Get Arty, what kind of frame rate do we usually shoot at?
Get Arty on day-to-day shoots, we shoot at 25 frames.
Oh.
But, say, cameras like the DSLR shoot at 50 frames. The big cameras like this shoot at 150 frames.
And what about my mobile? Because I'm going to get right in with the action going. Like, whoa, powder going everywhere.
Yeah, modern mobiles like that shoot some of them up to 240 frames.
Sweet. That's going to be awesome. That's going to be super slow.
Absolutely.
Let's get into it.
Great.
Let's go for
Oh,
it.
Jacqui, no! The first thing we have to do is work out where we want that powder to hit, okay?
Okay, I'm standing here.
Yep, okay, and Sandra just moving a little... Stop, that's perfect. Now,
Okay.
this is your canvas.
Yeah.
Okay. DSLR set up. My phone's ready. Russell, you ready? West, you ready? Girls, you ready? Ready, set, slow-mo! Now that's gonna make for some beautiful slow-mo. Yeah! Oh, no!
Hi everybody, my name's Frank Newman. I'm the Creative Learning Specialist for the Sydney Opera House. So, I have the best job in the world. I get to make interactive installations for children every school holidays, and I get to do things during term time for kids and families. This installation, Barnyard Mashup, it basically involves kids watching themselves on a wall in a little barnyard installation, and then other kids get to pick heads, arms, feet, or bodies.
Say goodbye to your human self. Bye.
And what happens on a special count, all of a sudden all those arms and legs get pasted onto those kids' faces and arms, and they dance around like a barnyard mashup of a crazy animal, like a geese chicken or a snake kind of cat.
All right, I'm gonna try to encourage these guys to make something really silly for you.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, yes.
In this installation, there are numerous artists, but the ultimate artist in this work is the kids, you. Until we've got kids actually interacting with it, we don't know how it works. And so there's always this nail-biting moment where we release the children into the artwork on day one.
Can you guys help me count down? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The original idea, it comes from a whole bunch of different places. It might be from somebody just having a flash in the night, but then what happens is a group of creative artists come together and they have a brainstorming session, and then it goes from that to a design, and it goes from a design to things being made, and it goes from things being made to actually being rehearsed, and from rehearsed it comes to an audience. So this is a suit we had made where the kids add the blocks on top of dancers who are wearing this, and they build structures which would come right out, and then the dancers would do this choreographed dance, and they would smash into each other, and the blocks would go flying everywhere. So the game was build a structure that survives the dance. And this is another artwork we did by an artist, an amazing artist called Gavin Barbie, where he puts ice onto the paper and he infuses the ice with colour pigment, and as it melts, it makes a beautiful organic painting. For these creative playworks, it probably takes about 6 weeks, from the idea through to the kind of testing, through to the rehearsing, through to the actual getting in front of an audience. But on average, theatre, it takes quite a while. The longest I've ever spent making one work is about 5 years, but usually a show would take about a year to make. And that's because you don't know what it's really going to look like until you start making things. So going from that idea in your brain and on paper and on writing words on page to actually what actors do with it or what set designers do with it, it looks different. In that moment, there's a whole new process of rediscovering it. And that's where you can't do that enough. You've gotta keep trying and research and development, because that's where the beautiful art is. Yes, you make mistakes along the way when you're making shows, but we often call these gifts. When you make a mistake, sometimes that's the best thing you'll do. It's the undiscovered moment. It's the moment where something totally unexpected happens, which some people would call a mistake, but sometimes that's actually the gift which will make the difference between your show or your artwork be something you wanted it to be to something totally unexpected, and it opens up a whole new area of exploration. So when I was a kid, I was a surfer. I spent my whole time in the ocean, and I guess you learn a lot from the ocean. And then as I got older and started getting into theatre, I started to see the strange similarities between the two. And I've always tried to search for a way to marry all of those passions. So I think if you're interested in art, you can always be interested in other things, and you can always find a way to make them work. Some of the weirdest things that I've worked with in my career are performers. Definitely they're strange. Directors, they're wonderful. I've worked with everything from sports people to brain specialists to caravan park owners. The list goes on and on. The advice I would give to my 12-year-old self, or to other kids that are interested in kind of theatre or art, is learn some skills. It doesn't really matter what it is, but just see those skills through. Don't give up halfway. Even if you're not passionate about whatever it is, you might mix it, you might find something from that which you'll use later on. All right, that's it.
There are so many ways to make beautiful artwork, including using yourself as a canvas. Today's project is going to be super messy, but super fun. I'm going to show you how to make coloured powder for powder paint wars. This is what you'll need: a blender, a cup of corn flour, 1/3 cup of water, a baking tray with baking paper, 7 mils of food colouring, a tea towel or an oven mitt, a wooden spoon, a plastic container, and for later, some white clothes and some safety goggles. Let's get going. The first step is to mix your corn flour, water and food colouring in your tub. So just put them all in together. And all the food colouring. Sometimes it doesn't always turn out how you want it. It's difficult working with corn flour. So add a bit more water. You want the consistency of runny ice cream. And just make sure that you knead and stir all those lumps out. Don't get too excited. We have to let this dry for 3 days in a cool, dark place. So make sure you prepare this before your colourful clash. But luckily, I prepared one 3 days ago. So we can keep going. And just repeat with any other colours that you want. You know that it's ready and dry when there's cracks in the surface. Now we're just going to smash up the big chunks with the end of our wooden spoon and put it on our baking tray. Now don't worry, it doesn't have to be a fine powder yet. That's what our blender's for. Time to put it in the oven at 150 degrees for 30 minutes. Now my powder has been cooked and cooled, it's time to blend it. So I like to use my baking paper as a funnel to put it in the blender. So you pick it up like that. Careful. And you just drop it in. No mess. Now you just want to have it on a high setting for about 5 minutes until it's a very fine powder. All right, now that that's a fine dust, you want to keep it in an airtight container until your clash. That will keep it nice and dry. It's everywhere. Give the sides a bit of a tap to get all the powder off. Here's some colours I made before. Aren't they awesome? Now for the best part, to have our big colourful clash and turn ourselves into artwork. I've enlisted Nathan and Sandra, and Nathan's going to capture it in slow motion. Stay tuned on Get Arty.
A great way to stand out in formal wear is by wearing accessories, and this is why I make my own bow ties. So here's what you'll need: a hot glue gun, elastic, iron-on pellet, fabric, scissors, a fabric pen and a ruler. Pellet is a material which is ironed on to a lightweight fabric and turns it into a medium weight fabric. All you have to do is get an adult to iron it onto your existing fabric, and you can get this at a fabric or craft store. All right, let's get started. We're going to measure out a rectangle 16 centimetres by 22 centimetres. Now that's all measured out, we can cut it out. Okay, all done. At this stage, you're going to get an adult to iron on the pellet at the back, but I've already got one pre-made. Here it is. Time to fold our bow tie. Fold your fabric in half. Now fold the bottom edge up about 1 centimetre. Make a crease. Fold the outside edges into the middle. And do the exact same on the other side. You really have to press hard to make those creases. Now with the creases that we just made, we're going to open it all up and secure the folds with a hot glue gun. I'm not using a lot of hot glue, I'm just using enough to keep it in shape. Now with the folds at the back, we're going to put a little bit of hot glue here and pinch it together. Just a little bit more. Where we just glued, we're going to fold the edges over and secure with glue. Hold tight until that glue is dry. Now we're going to make a strap which goes around our bow tie, hiding the hot glue and attaching the elastic at the back. To do this, we need to measure out 3 centimetres by 8 centimetres on our fabric. And cut it out. Place your fabric pattern side down and fold over and over again. Grab your bow tie and wrap around, and then just at the back where it meets up, we're going to put a dot of glue and secure the strap. Make sure you tuck the excess fabric behind so that you can't see it. With your elastic, use your neck to measure it out. Make sure it's not too tight. I've already measured mine out, so now I'm going to cut it just a little bit thinner, about 1/2 centimetre. Now our final step is to feed the elastic through the back of the bow tie and secure it with a dot of glue. All done, and now your bow tie is ready to wear.
A really easy and quick way to decorate your walls for a spooky themed party is to create some ghost artworks. And all you need is a black marker, eraser, charcoal, some paper, and hairspray. Grab your paper, lay it down flat, and using the charcoal on each side, cover it entirely with black. So you can put your charcoal aside and lastly use your fingers to darken out any white spots that might be hanging around. Okay, now grab your eraser. I'm going to draw an upside down U for the head. Now at first, you only see a faint line, but later on it will start to appear. For the hands, we're going to just draw some bean shapes. So curve up and bring it back down. I'm going to stop in line with the head and do the exact same thing on the other side. Now for the body, we're going to draw a long line starting from the bottom of the arm, going down, curving a bit to the right, and draw the exact same line just on the other side. Awesome. Now for the tail, probably think like a mermaid's tail. We're going to curve to the right, and we'll just close off the tail with a small tip. Now we can start erasing off the charcoal and your ghost will slowly start to appear. So if you make any mistakes or you don't like the way it's looking, you can always rub your finger with some charcoal and draw it back in. It's a reverse drawing, so think of the charcoal like an eraser and your eraser like the pencil. So as I said before, this does get messy, and you might notice a few fingerprints along the white of the body. What you need to do is just rub it off. It's as easy as that. All right, so I want to make my ghost's head a little bit smaller, so I'm going to grab the charcoal again. I'm just going to draw over the white bit, just so I can fit in some text later on. And then you can just use your finger to rub in that charcoal over that white. And his head's a little bit smaller. And you can use that same technique to neaten up the outline of the ghost. So I'm just going to go around the arms again, and again just rubbing in that charcoal. So as you're drawing, your eraser will be covered with black. So a good tip is just grab a spare piece of paper and just rub it off, and it's good as new. So our outline is done. I'm going to give my ghost a face. So with the black marker, I'm going to draw a small circle, just like that. And then inside, to the top right corner, I'm going to draw another small circle and then colour in this space here. Awesome. We'll do the same eye on the other side. Same process, 2 circles, and colour it in. Okay, so I'm gonna make my ghost smile. Remember, your ghost can do whatever it likes. It can be screaming, it can be scared, it can be angry, whatever you choose. So once you're happy with your drawing, you don't want your ghost to disappear. So with some hairspray, give it a shake, give it a light spray, and that will fix the charcoal into place. And that's it, you're done. Try in a few different sizes, and you can stick them on your wall to speakify any event.